Good day. Welcome back to my neck of the woods. My name's Dika. I'm going to talk about my experiences and things that I've done over the past and any type of knowledge that I can pass on. So today I'm going to talk about broadheads. There's three main type of broadheads on the market. We have our fixed blades, we have our mechanicals, and then newly, probably in the last couple of years, we have what's called a hybrid, which is a mix of a mechanical and a fixed blade. And which is better? Which do I think is better? This is based on my personal experiences. I'm no expert. So before I get started, please subscribe to my videos, like any of my videos, and make some comments. And don't forget to ring that bell. That'll alert you of any new videos that I have coming out. So we have mechanicals, hybrids, and fixed blades. Which are the best? All right. So I'm just going to start with some sort of what I would consider facts about broadheads. So we have broadheads that the fixed ones, obviously, they're one piece or multiple pieces that don't move. The mechanicals are ones that do move. Either they open from the rear or they open from the front, or they sort of a mix of both of them. And then there's the hybrids, which is usually some sort of cut-on contact or fixed, and then usually some rear front deploying blades mixed into it. So we know as hunters, and this is a lot of this goes to deer hunting because all I hunt is deer and turkey. So I'm going to leave any big game animals out of this. Well, I mean, deer's a big game, but I think you get my drift. So we know that as hunters that two holes are better than one. We know that a complete pass-through increases your chances of lethality and finding that animal. And now, on top of that, we know that a fixed blade has a higher percentage of creating that pass-through shot. So we would think that fixed blades are the best. So fixed blades, but then we lose this sort of diameter of cutting that is huge with mechanical broadheads. But mechanical broadheads notoriously don't go all the way through the animal. Now, I'm not going to say that they fail all the time. I mean, the opportunity to fail is there, but I personally don't think that mechanicals fail often. You know, I mean, all these broadhead tests that we do, I don't think that we can compare mechanicals to fixed blade broadheads because it's like comparing apples to oranges. So all of these broadhead tests that we see where people are shooting through water jugs or foam or cardboard or plywood or whatever it is they're shooting through, you know, they shoot them all with the same arrow and with usually the same weight tip. And usually mechanicals fail, or they'll say, well, you know, this one opened or it didn't deploy all the way. It's not an animal. It's a piece of cardboard. An animal moves. So, and usually the fixed blades, they always win these tests, almost all the time. And the mechanicals, a lot of them, like the blades will fall off or they'll get destroyed. Occasionally there's a hybrid in some of these tests. But what I'm saying is they're apples to oranges. So we know that a mechanical takes energy to open. And some of that energy gets lost on impact, as opposed to a fixed blade broadhead where it doesn't have to open. It doesn't have to morph in any way to create this cut. And we know that mechanicals are a wider diameter, usually a wider diameter cut than most fixed blades on the market. So in order to do these tests correctly, I would think that you would have to make a mechanical broadhead, give it more energy or more power than the fixed blade in order to see if it can, you know, perform better. Now, I personally think that they're just going to break, and especially with the mediums that we use. We're not shooting animals. We shoot these sort of inanimate objects, wood and cinder blocks and steel drums and all these things that certainly aren't animals. So I think that, and I'm going to try to do it myself once I get up the money to maybe buy some mechanical broadheads. If you think of a mechanical broadhead or a fixed that you would like me to test, please put it in the comments. So my test, this is what my test is going to consist of. It's going to consist of a lower poundage bow. I shoot 55 pounds. That's plenty enough to kill a white-tailed deer in North America. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the arrows or the forward of center heavier for the mechanicals than the fixed, because it takes that extra energy for them to open. Now I don't know what the ratio is going to be, but it's not going to be much. I think it's a small amount of energy that the mechanicals need to open. So maybe I'll do like a 150 head, or I'll make the arrow 100 grains heavier than the fixed one, and then you'll see if you can make it through. But like I said, all these tests, I think they're all based on sharpness of the broadhead. That's it. I don't think that one outperforms another one based on its design. I think it's all based on out-of-the-box sharpness. We all know that we can sharpen our fixed blades. It's really hard to sharpen a mechanical. It's very, very difficult. I mean, I'm not saying it can't be done, but it's more difficult than it is a fixed blade. You can buy replacement blades or whatnot. So from my opinion, and I haven't even talked about the hybrids, this is all about surface area. So a fixed blade has less surface area or less moving parts or less energy that's going to be deployed at impact, which gives it the ability to make it all the way through the animal, or a higher percentage of giving you that pass through, those two holes that hunters like. We like two holes better than one. So then mechanicals, they open, and it's surface area. Some of them have 2-inch cuts, and that's a lot of area. It's sort of like drag pulling through an animal. So I would think that you need a little more poundage, or people say kinetic energy. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but you need a little more poundage, or you need a longer draw length, or you need a heavier arrow, or you need a little more forward of center to use that mechanical as effective as the fixed blade. And it goes up even another notch when we talk about hybrids, because then it has the fixed blade, and then it has the mechanical on top of that. That's a lot of drag. That's a lot of things moving and opening. Excuse me, and opening inside of the animal, or right at the animal. They say mechanicals, they fail on quartering away shots. I'm not sure that that's entirely true, but they do fail. Every person that I know as a hunter that uses a mechanical broadhead, I use fixed, by the way, that uses a mechanical broadhead, either it's failed at least one time, and then they'll change to usually another mechanical. The people that like mechanicals, they like mechanicals. They usually change to another one, or one with a bigger cut, which doesn't make sense to me, but that's fine. Or these people, friends of mine and people that I know that shoot mechanicals, there's at least one story where it doesn't go all the way through most of the time. It'll give you a big hole on the outside, but then the arrow is stuck in there. And, a lot of times people will use the rationale, well, that was a 2-inch whitetail special, and that's bouncing around in there, so I'm sure that will do enough damage. I would prefer just to pass through, let it bleed from both sides, as opposed to, because a lot of times you need that blood trail, and if it's bleeding inside and not on the ground, we have trouble finding it. So, my opinion, I think a fixed blade is best, but only based on surface area compared to all these tests. So I'm going to come up with a test to see if a mechanical will perform better than a fixed blade. Usually they don't in all these tests. Now, a lot of people, they'll say that, and they'll use the argument, they'll say, well, Rage is the best-selling broadhead in the country or on the planet. Well, it is, because it's a one and done. Once you shoot an animal with it, or shoot it into a target, or shoot it into anything, it's trash. You can't use it again. As opposed to most fixed blades, you can buy replacement blades, or if it's all one piece, you can sharpen it again and reuse it. So people who shoot, I'll use Rage for it, people that shoot mechanicals, they buy 3 times as many or 4 times as many, because it's a one and done. Once you shoot an animal with it, it's just junk. And usually when you shoot an animal with it, one blade's bent. So that's the rationale that Rage or even Schwacker's a big one on the market. You know, they outsell fixed blades at least 3 to 1. All right, that's my tidbits. I didn't even talk about hybrids. I just think I think hybrids are just kind of a joke. I think it's just a big whopping thing that certainly isn't going to go all the way through an animal. It's going to make a big hole. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't go through all the way, but compared, if you take fixed blades, mechanicals, and then hybrids, and in that order, fixed blades perform better, and then mechanicals perform, and then hybrids, so to speak. I haven't shot a hybrid, so I really can't shoot from personal experience. But that's all I got to say. Let me know what you think in my comments. If you think I'm a dope or I'm on the right track, or you have some advice for my broadhead test that I'm going to do. All right. Thank you very much. Please subscribe to my channel, like my videos, and make any comments. All right. Be well.